feel empty. I don't know how to fully accept God into my life.
Let's talk about the Beatitudes. They're basically guidelines to living out a Christian life fully.
I know them, but I don't know how to understand them and apply them to modern life. The Sermon on the Mount was 2,000 years ago.
I'll help you understand.
Blessed are the poor in spirit, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. This means those not overly attached to material things and put God first are blessed. Blessed are those who mourn, for they will be comforted. This means those who are truly sorrowful for their sins have no hope, or are lost and will find comfort in God. Blessed are the meek, for they will inherit the land. Those who are humble will be respected. Blessed are those who hunger and thirst for righteousness, for they will be satisfied. Those who are honest and work for peace and want God's presence in the world will be happy. Blessed are the merciful, for they will be shown mercy. Those who treat others with compassion will be treated equally. Blessed are the pure in heart, for they will see God. Those who seek God in everyone and in all living things will be blessed with his image. Blessed are the peacemakers, for they will be called the children of God. Blessed are those who are persecuted for the sake of righteousness, for their sins is the kingdom of heaven. Elizabeth left the confessional understanding that letting God into her life isn't an easy task. She still had some doubts and questions, but she chose to keep them to herself for a little while. Once Elizabeth felt comfortable expressing her doubts and asking her questions, she went to find another priest that would better explain everything.
Father, I constantly hear my teachers and classmates talking about law and how it is supposed to help me become a better person. How does that law help us?
Well, law can be found in two different parts of the Bible, in the Old Testament and in the New Testament. They focus on different things.
Like what?
Well, each rule benefits community in some type of way, and it typically gives the example of how to follow God. Law in the Old Testament was basically the Ten Commandments. They set the standard for how people should act. They were given to Moses by God in hopes that people could be saved.
And what about the New Testament?
In the New Testament, we can look at law as the Beatitudes that were given on the Sermon on the Mount when Jesus proclaimed them. With this, we focus on loving God and our neighbor. In the new law, it applies to the church in spiritual ways and reveals the fulfillment of God's promises in the old, like Jesus. The old law applies to Jewish believers practicing Jewish laws and practices they have been observing since the beginning. This makes the new law better than the old law because it makes us less judgmental, and we are all welcome in the kingdom of God.
Oh, are there more laws in the Catholic Church?
Yes, actually there are. There's this whole group of laws called the canon laws. They're divided into 4 different parts: moral, natural, the new law, and the old law.
What is the difference between moral law and natural law?
Moral law reflects God's wisdom, and it's through his teaching that we are led to the blessed life he wants for us. Natural law, however, is our God-given ability to understand what it means to be in a relationship with people and with God. It's the basis. The basis of it is us participating in God's wisdom because we are created in his image and his likeness.
And what about the other two?
Natural law is the moral law. It can be understood through reasoning. When God made us, he gave us the ability to comprehend what it means to be in a relationship with God. It's how we interact with God's wisdom and goodness. Jesus revealed the new law, or the laws of love, in the New Testament through his life and teaching. It perfects the old law. The last law is the old law. It is seen in the Old Testament, especially through the Ten Commandments.
Father, I was here yesterday to get a better understanding understanding of the Beatitudes and the law, but I'm still confused. Could you please explain to me how the law is a source of freedom, considering that if you follow a law, you don't have the freedom to do the opposite? You're being told what to do. I looked it up last night, but I couldn't grasp what they were saying.
Well, Elizabeth, the definition of freedom is the power rooted in reason and will to perform deliberate action, the power or right to act, speak, or think as one wants without hindrance or restraint. However, doing what the law states helps us be free from judgment and the nature of the old law. This strengthens our relationship with God, making us closer to Him. We become a part of His life instead of just living in His world, not connected to Him.
Oh, I see what you're saying, Father. It's starting to make more sense. What is the purpose of our souls? Is it what makes us similar to God and helps us to be more conscious of our decisions?
Yes, Elizabeth, that's excellent. We are given our souls once we are conceived. It helps us make the right decisions when a situation is presented to us.
Awesome. One last question. Isn't intellect supposed to also help us make the right decisions?
Yes, that's another factor. Intellect is our divine ability and gives us the ability to see and understand the order of things that God places within creation, and to know and understand God through the created order.
Thank you, Father.